Risk response. Risk response is all about creating a game plan on how the project team will deal with the risks if they occur. A number of risk response strategies are available. For example, risk avoidance, risk mitigation, risk transfer, risk sharing, risk acceptance, contingency plans, fallback plans, and project reserves. Risk avoidance. With the risk avoidance strategy, the project team aims to avoid the risk altogether. Risk avoidance strategy ensures that the identified risk has no chance of threatening the project anymore. Through risk avoidance, a project team decides to use a different plan from the original one to eliminate or avoid a potential risk. For example, consider a project which needs supplies for some of its activities. The supplies can be either procured from external suppliers or they can be produced in-house. The project team believes that in-house production can provide them the benefit of on-time delivery, but it has the risk of becoming a low-quality and costly initiative. Therefore, the project team decides to rely on external suppliers to avoid the risks associated with the in-house production of supplies. Risk mitigation. A risk mitigation strategy aims to reduce inherent risks in a project. Mitigating a risk is possible through minimizing the likelihood of a risk happening or lowering a risk's consequence on the project. If a risk cannot be avoided, then the next best strategy is to try to make it less bad if it happens. For example, there is always the risk that project team members may make errors in their work on a project. While we cannot completely eliminate people-related risk from the project, we can mitigate it through organizing regular education and training for the team members. Risk transfer. Through a risk transfer strategy, the responsibility for risk is transferred over to a third party. Purchasing insurance is a common example of risk transfer. Buying an insurance plan does not negate the risk that something may go wrong in the project. However, the insurance company takes on the risk of dealing with the problem if it occurs. The risk transfer response strategy aims to ensure that the project remains relatively unscathed if the risk occurs. Unfortunately, the project manager can use risk transfer strategy only for certain types of risk. Risks related to an organization's brand, reputation, and project staff can hardly be transferred. Risk sharing. Risk sharing involves partnering with others to share responsibility for the activities with risk elements. For example, the project team can share the risk of developing a new product with a joint venture partner. The partnership may involve agreeing to work together and sharing responsibilities, investments, risks, and rewards related to the new product development. Many organizations that work on international projects will share political, legal, market, and other risks associated with overseas projects by developing a joint venture with an organization located in that country. Partnering with local organization will reduce risk burden because the local organization has local expertise and experience that the international organization does not have. Risk acceptance. Even when the project team has avoided, mitigated, transferred, and shared most of the project risks, there could still be some risks that remain. These are known as residual risks. The project team accepts residual risks. The project team may also accept risks that have a low probability of occurring or low impact on the project if they occur. The project team can choose to accept the less severe risks and do nothing. For example, small manageable risks can be accepted, such as minor delays in certain activities and minor cost overruns on a few work packages. Some risks are not transferable, avoidable, or shareable, perhaps because they are extremely massive. For example, transferring or avoiding the risks associated with earthquakes and other natural disasters is almost impossible. The project team will accept such risks, and if possible, will have a contingency plan for these risks. Contingency plan. A contingency plan refers to an alternative plan that has been set in case a risk occurs. Implementing a contingency plan requires resources and coordinated effort. Let us assume a project team has a piece of costly machine that is critical for the project. If this machine breaks down, purchasing a new one will not be possible because of the project's budget constraints. Moreover, the insurance cost of this machinery is very high, so the team did not purchase any insurance for this machine. The risk could not be transferred here, and the team passively accepted the risk. But the team has set up a contingency plan. If the machine breaks down, the project team will have manual labor. Manual labor will be the alternative to the machine, and project activities will continue with the manual labor works. Fallback plan. As a backup of the contingency plan, the project team may prepare a fallback plan whenever possible. For the project team, a fallback plan is an additional response strategy in case the contingency plan fails. The fallback plan is like a Plan B in case the contingency plan, which is Plan A, fails. Refer to our example regarding the expensive machine. If the machine breaks down and the project manager fails to arrange sufficient labor for manual operation, the fallback plan could be to lease or rent a similar machine from the market. Project reserves. Many projects will have project reserves. Because major risks, if they occur, lead to increased costs for the project. To deal with such circumstances, the team will need project reserves. Typically, project reserves are approved in advance by the parent organization or the client. Project reserves, sometimes called contingency funds, are special provisions for responding to any risk event. Refer again to our example regarding the expensive machine. The project team will need funds to deploy manual laborers for the project or lease the machine from the market.